So as you can see, we were playing a lot of Palworld this weekend, and lo and behold, it is actually pretty crazy, the success of Palworld. It has sold, I think, 5 million copies. Palworld has sold 5 million copies in the past, in just the past weekend. So, of course, like many good things, we literally cannot have anything good in this world without people on Twitter shitting on it. So that is what we're going to be discussing tonight. All of the discourse going on Twitter and social media in general, but especially Twitter, because of course it's Twitter. They've been yelling about Palworld, and let me tell you guys, the amount of people I've argued with about Palworld today and yesterday, it's numbered in probably the hundreds. As you know, every time I see a pylon of some sort, I can't just stay out of it. I lack the ability to look at it going on in the distance and being like, yeah, okay. Pull up my tea and, you know, just sip on it and go, well, not going near that. No, I do the opposite, guys. I do the opposite. I go right in, I wade in, and I get into the thick of things. Because I hate pylons, guys. I hate pylons so much. It is one of my least favorite things to see. And man, an actual small indie company that is making it is getting piled on right now. Namely, the Palworld devs. So, basically, the discussion tonight will be about all of the shit, for lack of a better term, that I've been seeing slung at the Palworld devs and in the discourse for people even playing Palworld. I've gotten a lot of personal insults and such myself for playing the game and liking the game. And I think it's important to realize, first of all, what makes Palworld successful, guys? What is Palworld? Why is it successful? What do you guys like about Palworld? Everyone in the audience, Darkshade, Lana, Mist, Selly, Julian, you guys are playing Palworld. Moondrakes, I don't think Moondrakes is playing it yet. Aku, what do you guys like about Palworld? I like that it actually combines a bunch of different genres that I like. It's actually more of a survival game than anything, and I love survival games. It's actually closer to Valheim and Ark than pretty much anything else. Even closer than it is to Pokemon, in my opinion, because like the little pals, the little Pokemons are like there, and they're kind of like they're a big part of the game, obviously, but like for me, that's not really what's drawing me in. Like that's fun. I like my little pal dudes, and they're going around. I can teach them how to shoot guns and stuff. But the real thing that brings me into it is the survival mechanics, and I really like good survival games. Funny to catch things and make them work. Yeah, exactly. And then you can sell them into slavery as well, Sully, which is like an entire separate thing. It's like, dude, this is very silly. It's like takes something very silly and makes it like, yeah, there, you know, Curly, you hit it. Personally, and this is what Curly Cowboy's saying right now. Personally, it gives me what I wanted from Game Freak for years. New takes, new aspects, fun mechanics, etc. And yeah, Game Freak has not really innovated in years. And I think that's why people are like going crazy right now for this. Anyway, so we've been seeing a lot of discourse on the Twitter, on social media, about a lot of accusations for, I would say many things, but the two specific things that we're going to be talking about here, mostly are people are saying that it steals assets, and people are saying that it is AI generated. So we're going to talk about this, guys. We're going to talk about this right now. Here are some screenshots from the game. We'll just go right into it. This is a little comment from a person named Ziostorm1. And I've been seeing screenshots like this all the fucking time. Now, when I saw this, I was like, wow, this looks like the ruins from Elden Ring. But it's actually not the exact ruins from Elden Ring. It is similar, but this is not, this is similar to the circle from Elden Ring, but it is not the circle from Elden Ring. And this is what the problem with a lot of this discourse boils down to. This is, don't worry, Akai, we just started. This is the big problem. People have no idea what the word inspiration means compared to what the word plagiarism means. People are going nuts. And I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because I have to literally remind actual grown-ups. I have to remind grown-ups inspiration and plagiarism are two very different things. The game is heavily inspired by Ark Survival Evolved, Elden Ring, Valheim, Pokemon. But it doesn't steal assets from any of those. That's a wild accusation. But I've been seeing this accusation thousands and thousands and thousands of times on Twitter. And it's like, dude, if this was stealing, guys, if this was stealing, let me tell you guys, if this was stealing, then you could not use an M4, for example, in two different shooters. Modern Warfare would be stealing from Battlefield, or, you know, stealing from Wolfenstein, or whatever, you know, like, every single game would be stealing from each other. Guess what? None of them are stealing from each other. Why? Because it's inspirations using similar concepts, sometimes similar ideas. How many games have had ruins, guys? How many games have had ruins? Yeah, the people, oh my god, I actually saw that discussion, Darkshade. I need to find it. But people were looking at the movement from this game, from Palworld, saying that it's stealing from Breath of the Wild. And I had to remind people, my brother in Christ, have you seen the movement of Genshin Impact? It is the exact same. Like, the entire year that Genshin Impact came out, for that entire year on social media, on Twitter specifically, because that's mostly the social media that I use, all I could see about Genshin Impact was the accusation that it was waifu gamba Breath of the Wild. It was literally called that exact phrase. It's not stolen from Breath of the Wild. It was heavily inspired, but guess what? That isn't and never has been a crime. If that was a crime, we wouldn't even have Pokemon. Because guess what? Pokemon stole most of their designs from there we go. Sorry, I put it in the wrong place. Pokemon stole most of their designs from Dragon Quest. Now, a lot of people don't know what Dragon Quest is or what Dragon Warrior is. But Dragon Quest and Dragon Warrior were games back in the 80s. The artist for Dragon Quest and Dragon Warrior is the absolute GOAT, one of the greatest of all time, Toriyama. Toriyama, you might know his name from making the character designs of not only Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior, and so on, but also Dragon Ball Z. That is why this dragon right here looks remarkably similar to Shenron, because it's the same artist. And so, shocker that we have a lot of these monster designs being extremely, extremely similar to in Pokemon from Dragon Quest. It's because this was like the next step in the evolution. Another company saw this idea, saw these monsters, and they were like, hey, we can make a game out of this. And that little game company was called Game Freak, and they made Pokemon. Again, there is nothing wrong with taking inspiration from something previous, building upon it, creating your own different take on it, and having the designs extremely, extremely heavily inspired by it. Like this little crab dude, heavily inspired. The Dragonite, heavily inspired. Ghastly with this ball of ghostly gas right here, heavily inspired. Caterpie, heavily inspired. That's not a bad thing, mind you. Again, reminder, not a bad thing, not a crime. But like a lot of this has been going on constantly. So why are we talking about this? Because now people are going crazy with the comparisons. And now people are going a little bit egregious with the comparisons. For example, and actually, it's kind of insane to see the level of takes going on. We have this guy who made a different game about fish. And about realistic fish. 151 realistic fish designed by one concept artist. I'm very proud of him. But it's a game about fish. And he's like, hey, it doesn't look like the Pokemon. Yeah, your game isn't even about Pokemon. Like, Palworld is heavily inspired by Pokemon. It's kind of a parody poking fun of Pokemon. obviously is going to have a lot of similarities. Like, this is absolutely whack that you're trying to even do this right here. Like, this is absolutely crazy. Find you fish in the game, it looks like a fish Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, you feel free to look. I looked at some of them and they looked like, you know, they showed like salmons and things like that. Like, it was like a lot of those things. And like it was just striking that his game had nothing to do with the price of eggs. Like, it had nothing to do with Pokemon, it had nothing to do with any of these, and it's just like, yeah, it makes sense that it would have nothing even remotely similar to either Pokemon or Palworld. It's not even the same realm of possibility. And so this is a nice little compilation of the 1-to-1 list. Now this has been going crazy. People have been going nuts with this, making lots of comparisons. And I wanted to show you. This is like one of the so-called egregious designs that are so close that it has to be nothing but plagiarism. Okay, so this is Palworld right here. This is Pokemon right here. Now, yes, this looks similar. It looks inspired. It is inspired. But this is not even the same. This is not the same thing. Look at this. Look at how close this is not the same thing. Like, dude, they have similar bunny feet. Okay? Similar cartoon bunny feet. They have the little like pull-up shorts almost, right? And that's kind of it. They don't have the same eyes. They don't have the same nose. They don't even have the same hair. They don't even have the same colors. They don't even have the same eye design. Their arm being little stubs is only similarity. That's it. This is what we're doing, guys. This is what people are going crazy about. And I will show you exactly how crazy they're going. What is that? Oh yeah, there we go. You found a the guy talking about the fish. You're right. Hey guys, it's a blocky Wailord. True. Man. There we go. He's copying off Pokemon. He's plagiarizing on Pokemon. Oh my god. Oh my god. Now, if I was an asshole, I would type on this, hey, it looks like you're copying off of Wailord here. What is wrong with you? How dare you? However, I'm not an asshole, so I'm not going to do that. But, and nor should you. No one should ever do this. I think the big problem with the discourse is that too many people are doing things like this. But this is just showing the hypocrisy of the situation. Absolutely. Another one that's, like, dude, this is like a green snake, right? And this is like different eyes. They have like the same nose shape, right? And that's like it. This is such a stretch. It is ridiculous. It is an absolute ridiculous thing. But the problem is, it's like these types of things all over again. Sobble's fun. You know why Sobble is fun? Because Mudkip and Sobble share literally no traits except their fin, and even that is a stretch. The fin is like, oh wow, it's a yellowish fin with some dark color on the outside of the fin. That's it. Oh wow, these two things are both hedgehogs. Oh my god! Hedgehogs are incorporated, guys! They're plagiarized! There's the copyright, guys! Yeah, Pokemon now owns serpents, guys. Pokemon now owns serpents. Did you know that Pokemon owns serpents, guys? We're fucked. Pokemon owns serpents. We can't have anything nice anymore, guys. There are some similarities here, but the similarities are... Dude! I can't even... How the absolute hell is this Woololo? Yeah, it is very clear that Pokemon plagiarized their designs from actual animals. I'm pretty sure actual animals should hire a lawyer and contact Game Freak with a lawsuit. Exactly, Arcry. Exactly. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. Like, it is absolutely nuts. Oh my god, there are two wolves. There are two wolves inside you. One is the Palworld wolf, and one is the Pokemon wolf. They're both wolves, guys. I'm impressed. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Like, this one is similar, heavily inspired. Is it the same? No. Can it be sued? No. And also, guys, let me remind you. The Flappy is hilarious. Guys, do these even look remotely the same? I can't even look at these, man, without cracking up. Someone is unironically trying to convince us that this is the same design. Someone is unironically, yeah, exactly. They're trying to unironically say that these two things are plagiarized off of each other. I'm astounded. They're both sheeps, guys. They're both sheeps. Lambs. Wait, sheeps or lambs? I don't know. I can't even tell. Like, dude, yeah, Mareep is a sheep. Mareep is a sheep, and the lamb is the other one, the tall one. So, a round, fat sheep is not owned by Pokemon. Let me tell you. This is actually, like, the most craziest discourse I've seen on Twitter since probably Hogwarts Legacy's discourse all the way back. Like, and also, now they're trying to insinuate that AI is being used in these games. Now, why are they doing that? Because this is the account of the dev of Palworld. He is a big fan of tech and stuff, and he likes to talk about how AI has evolved over the years. That does not mean that Palworld is made with AI. People took this and decided that as a result of him being a fan of AI and being a fan of what AI could do in the future and such, if you look, you can read it right here. AI has evolved so much that I can no longer tell which one is a Pokemon. He's showing off that, hey, wow, AI is evolving. It's really hard to tell this art apart anymore. That doesn't mean Palworld has AI. It doesn't have AI. It is in Steam's TOS that you cannot have AI in your game undisclosed. They will literally take your game off of Steam. It'll be gone on Steam if it had that. And it's not gone off Steam. You know why? Because it doesn't fucking have AI. Are you crazy? The level of discourse is insane at this point, guys. Like, oh my god. You have no idea the kinds of level people will stoop to pile on these days, man. It is absolutely nuts. It is absolutely nuts. He's talking about how we'll probably see an AI game on GPT-4 this year. He's not saying he's the one making it. He's just talking about the trend happening later on. Yeah, funny enough, there is a Palworld mod that is a Pokemon mod on Palworld. And that is a fan-made mod, correct. Yeah, Alcry, I'm gonna make this into a YouTube video. And also, they're saying that he made an AI game before, and as a result, there is no way that Palworld doesn't have AI. And this is absurd because this game does exist. It's called Art Imposter. It is a game that the dev made with AI. But what is the difference here? I disagree with his take on AI as well, Darkshade. I'm just saying that it's not illegal, and it does not mean that Palworld is made with AI. In fact, the fact that he made a game with AI, and he made it openly, and so this is a game called AI Art Imposter, and the point of this game is it shows you like 4 pictures, and one of them is real, and as in made by an artist, and the other ones are made by AI, and you have to tell which one, find the fake essentially, and it's just that over and over and over again. But the problem is that people are pointing to this game saying, well, if he made one game with AI, he made more. No, that's not the case because, like I said, first of all, it has to be disclosed on Steam if a game is made with AI. This game was disclosed on Steam, which is why it was allowed. It's allowed on Steam because that's the entire point of the game. Also, the dev is so open about using AI in this game, he's made it a point. If he's so open about it, it's a selling point of this game. He would happily say it with Palworld if it was as well. Why would he not? He doesn't mind it. He's not going to do it without disclosing it. There's no way. He's not dumb. This guy's been making games for like a decade now. So that's another crazy salient point. Oh yeah, and the other thing is, so people are. So I of course I'm the one who posted this adorable little picture showing off all the Dragon Quest and Dragon Warrior monsters and comparing it to Pokemon, and everyone on Twitter basically lost their minds. And so someone pointed out the Kirin monster that is shared between Pokemon and Palworld. This is the Palworld. This is the Pokemon. And they don't realize that this is what a Kirin looks like. Guys, this is a Kirin. They're both inspired by Kirin. Yes, they're going to share the same traits because the thing that they're inspired from is the same. If you take a sheep and you try to make a Pokemon-style monster that are sheep for both Pokemon and both for Palworld, they're going to have some shared traits. That's the entire point. Same thing with the Kirin. I don't think people understand what the word inspiration means. To the point that I have seen discourse about people literally diving in front of a bullet trying to protect the multi-billion-dollar company that has been proven to steal inspiration from other companies as well. And they're saying, no, leave my billion-dollar company alone. This is the weirdest hill I've seen people die on. On social media in the past year. Like, straight up, the weirdest one. Yeah, I can't use logic versus angry people. That is absolutely true. But I've been doing it for the past 48 hours anyways. Because, honestly, it's a lot of fun. I have seen people seethe about this. Like, absolutely seethe. This was a fun post about someone thinking that the game was made out of AI. Now, when asked, where's the proof of AI? Genuine, real proof. Let's just say they couldn't come up with it, guys. Let's just say when you hold their feet to the fire, there is no proof to the point that they delete their post. This is why I honestly believe, going back to my previous rant about how we need to hold people to account and we need to shame them for the takes that they have and you know, really have open discussions about these things. This is the one thing I like about social media. You can argue with these people. And when you do, they fold like a sack of shit. Do you know why? Because they don't have a single leg to stand on. And it is actually adorable that they try. They try. And like, the problem is, and thank you for the follow, Shay. I appreciate that, buddy. Welcome to Corey Crew, my friend. We're discussing the new Palworld game. Have you played it? We're having a lot of fun with this discussion already. Hope you're having a great night, my friend. Hope you're having a great night. It's not stealing when the world works on ideas that everyone in the world will have at some point. It's like a band whining that someone stole their sound, and eventually somewhere down the line, at some point, everyone that sound will be used by something. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Daily Drake. There's a lot of songs that use samples of other songs in their song. Like, Drake has like 4 songs like this where he literally samples another song, and that is the entire basis of his song. What's his name? Kanye. I don't know why I forgot Kanye. Kanye West, one of his best songs is Diamonds of Sierra Leone, right? And it's talking about like blood diamonds and so on and so forth. But he samples a song. He samples one of the most famous songs from a movie ever called Diamonds Are Forever. It's a James Bond movie. And he takes that entire like sample and makes it the basis of his song. It happens all the time in music. Kanye's opinions aside, I agree, he's a man of psychotic opinions. Completely agreed, Potato. But I'm just saying, like, in a sense of like using things for inspiration and transformative things and so on and so forth, this happens in other media all the time. It happens in video games all the time, but people's memories are short. Genshin is heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild. It's heavily inspired by anime. Guess what? It's never been sued by Breath of the Wild, by Nintendo, or by anime. Palworld was released, the trailer was released 3 years ago. So we've seen these Palworld designs for, Under Pressure, Nice Ice Baby. That's another example, Aku. That's a very good example, actually. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. I laugh at Potato, yeah. 50 Shades of Grey is literally a Twilight fanfic. Yep, exactly. I think the author of Twilight tried to sue. I think that one they tried to do. And the lawsuit had to be dropped. I'm not entirely sure about that one, but I think I remember that from years ago. So that like shows what the legal precedence is. Plagiarism is a very high bar to reach, because like everyone is pointing out correctly in chat, originality and sheer originality, like having a non-inspired idea, as in zero inspiration whatsoever, is extremely hard. Like there's very few entirely original concepts left. Like I mean, every thought you have is inspired by something. It's either inspired by your memories, by your thoughts, the things you've read, the movies you watched, the TV shows you've watched, the games you played, books you've read, so on and so forth. Everything is inspired. That doesn't mean you're having bad, unoriginal thoughts. You're still having original thoughts. They're just not wholly original. They don't appear out of, like, literally nothing. It's insane to believe that everything has to appear out of literally nothing. That is why we have, frankly, way too stringent copyright laws, I think, in many ways. And they're stringent on the side of, like, if I play certain music on this channel, I will be copyright struck and I can lose my channel. I think it's way too stringent on that side. However, we still have those laws because of plagiarism and inspiration are two very different things, and everything is pretty much inspired by everything else. And plagiarism is plagiarism, and it's a very, very high bar to reach for a reason. Can't I get I Wish by Stevie Wonder and Will Smith's Wild Wild West? I actually don't know that one, but that's totally fair. That is totally fair. You know, it's actually really, really funny because when I made this post about inspiration does not mean plagiarism, this is the level of discourse that we have, guys. This person posted, "Here's my life's work inspired by the famous Mona Lisa," thinking that they made a point here. The problem is, guys, you can literally buy a shirt with the Mona Lisa being made fun of and parodied. And it is allowed. You know why? Because the Mona Lisa is being inspired for the pattern here. This is not considered plagiarism. If this is not considered plagiarism, there is no fucking way that Palworld could be considered plagiarism from Pokemon. Like, this person defeated their own point and didn't even realize it. Like, am I taking crazy pills? I don't understand what is wrong with people today. Like, she literally posted her own point and how it defeats her own point. And just did not even say. Exactly, Dongle Josh. Dongle Josh, how you doing, buddy? Welcome, my friend. The Mona Lisa isn't originally painted a woman, stole her looks for the paint. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there you go. And people also forget, like, the insinuations about AI being thrown around. We had this trailer for Palworld. I watched this trailer for Palworld when it came out 3 years ago. June 5th, 2021 is when this came out. All these designs came out and everything. What does that mean? There's no way this game could have been made with AI. That's what it means. AI has only become so popular and ubiquitous very, very, very recently. So how the fuck could Palworld be made by AI? Answer: it can't. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. Now here's actually a really, really cool post. I'm gonna share this one in chat. This post is actually an interview by the developer of the game Palworld. And it's a really nice interview, actually, all around. And I wanted to read this out to you because he actually gives some answers about the creative process that went into making this game. Craftopia was characterized by its heavy use of existing assets. This was their previous game. Craftopia was very obviously heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild, and not even Craftopia was sued by Nintendo, even though the mechanics and such are much more similar to Breath of the Wild than it was than Palworld is to Pokemon. Interestingly enough, I've looked into it, and it is very heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild. However, in Craftopia, there's a lot of crafting, there's a lot of building, and that's kind of like the point of the game. And it uses a lot of the inspiration from Breath of the Wild to create its own game. That's the entire point. That's what inspiration is. But it was characterized by its heavy use of existing assets. Palworld seems to use its original assets a lot more. Did you have a change of heart on using existing assets? And Mizobi is the creator of Palworld. For Palworld, we made loads of original assets. They have artists making their own assets. You can look on Palworld's website and find a list of all of the artists that they hired for Palworld, by the way. Just tossing it out there. Honestly, wanted to use as many existing assets as possible, and we were using them when we started out. But in the end, we had to make many original assets. We had no other choice. They couldn't even do the existing assets. They had to make their own. For example, all the pals in Palworld have unique forms and are different from existing animals in various ways. For example, even if a pal looked similar to a real-life deer, if the shape of its antlers are different, we can't reuse the motions. Furthermore, there are many pals for which we can only shrug if asked for a real-life counterpart. Pals that don't look anything like that exist in this world. For example, one of my favorite pals, this little derpy-ass puddle dude. Look at him. There's not a thought behind this cute doofus motherfucker's ass. Look at him. He's so dumb. He's so stupid. His head is completely empty. It is adorable. Is there a Pokemon that looks like this? Like, I guess, like, Mud would be... Grimer or Mud would be, like, the most similar thing. And this is completely different than Grimer and Mud. But, like... It's you know, a derpy looking, head empty, no thought. Yeah, exactly. Muck. Sorry, yeah. His name is Muck. Yeah. It reminds me of like the Pokemon names that if you reverse them, it says what it is. Like Ekans is a snake. So Muck is cum. Anyways, I just love that joke. Shit. Spilled a bunch of water. Oh, crap. I am an idiot. Hold on. This is how you know we do it live, guys. This is how you know we do it live. So I just took some paper towels and I just, like, dabbed it on and everything. And hopefully it dries up and it doesn't ruin my papers, because that would be really, really, really bad. But anyways, we're back. Okay, so, furthermore, there are many pals which don't have real-life animal counterparts. Pals that don't look like anything that exists in this world. For these, we had to make 3D models. With reluctance, we had to give up on the asset-driven approach we established with Craftopia and make models and motions of our own. It's actually really funny because he's basically saying that he did want to use existing assets beforehand. He actually literally just couldn't. So they had to basically, because like, so this game company is very, very small, and they talk about the amount of people that they hire and everything like that. But they had I think like a dev team of like 5 for Craftopia. It has it in this article, but I'm not gonna look for it again. And then they had to like increase their dev team for this game and hire a bunch of artists and everything by like, I think like 24 extra people that they had to hire. And it shows, because the quality of this game, by all intents and purposes, I've not played Craftopia, but people who played both say that this game is like infinitely better than Craftopia in pretty much every single way. Welcome, Von Spooky. It's good to have you in here, my friend. How is your night? Welcome. Yeah, I should just put the wet papers into the oven. You're right, Ak. I'll do that. Was anything particularly difficult about Palworld's development in technical sense? Open world game. Wait. He's just talking about the dev team here and everything. But yeah, so it is very, very clear that this is not a game that either has AI and it does not have any stolen assets. Like they rigged it themselves. They started off with some base Unreal 5 engine stuff. Like you have a rock here and so on and so forth. A really good friend of mine posted this actually, talking about, because they're a game dev, so they talk about what the UE5 default assets are. Another arrow that's being slung around by people online is that this game is just an asset flip. These are the assets that are given to you in UE5. There's obviously a lot more than this in Palworld, guys. Like it's a like my friend is saying here, this is a bold-faced lie. And there's a lot of original assets that were made for this game. They go into detail about it here, and you can see the quality in the game. Like, is the game great? No. But he actually talks about it here. How much of the game is done? Let's see. He talks about it here somewhere. Okay, he's talking about PvP. So he's going to be adding PvP in the game, by the way. But I think, yeah, here we go. All the basic functions are set, but the game is only 60% complete. So the reason that it's early access is because it's very early access as a game. There's so much more to be done with this game in the future. And this only shows like how bright the indie game future is. But it kind of shows how shitty people are online for when an indie game gets success. Sometimes they're nice, like in the case of Valheim or in the case of Vampire Survivors. And then sometimes they're complete assholes in online and in terms of this game. It's also, here's another little tidbit. There's 1,025 Pokemon. I don't care how creative you are, there's going to be similarities between the Pokemon, especially if you're basing them off mostly animals. Do you believe that Nintendo wouldn't have shut this down from the first images thought if they thought there was actual stolen material? Nintendo and Game Freak, let me remind you guys, are some of the most litigation-heavy companies on the planet right now in terms of game companies. Like, they love suing. Nintendo literally went after random people for hosting small indie tournaments for Smash Brothers. Why? Because they kind of hate their community that much. Like, Nintendo loves suing anytime they can possibly try to sue or give at least a cease and desist and, you know, start the process to that end. They didn't here. Why? Because they know legally they have no leg to stand on. Not even creatively, really, because they know that their own designs were heavily inspired by the wonderful Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest. This is a lovely little video about an artist who thinks that if you cram two meshes together and change the sizes and proportions and everything, it might prove something. It doesn't. If you take a mesh of Sonic and Mario, they somehow fit into each other. Does that mean Sonic or stole from Mario or Mario stole from Sonic? No. You know why? Because this entire discussion is absolutely abjectly idiotic. It is actually amazing how dumb people are being right now. There's a lovely little example given here about this. Yeah, here we go. If you take the 3D meshes of the two wolf PAL versus Pokemon, they don't even really match up, guys. Like, they're a similar size and shape because they're both based on wolves. They're not the same. Do you know why? Because they're not stolen. There's another artist. I can't find the post. I wanted to bring it out for you guys so I could, give some more detail and context. There's another interesting artist. As many artists as there are yelling about, oh my god, I feel like this is stolen. And it's always people that say, I feel like this is stolen. There's no feeling. Either it's stolen or it's not. You can't say, I feel like it was. If you're saying, I feel like it was, or I feel like something is bad, don't say it. It's not there. There's no actual proof of anything. Because and I'll get into why this is important. Why I'm even talking about this and why I'm bringing this up will come up real soon. And it's because these things have real world consequences. But yeah, so these two wolves or whatever, they don't even have the same mesh. Like, yeah, their tail can be put into each other. That's it, really. They can kind of fit into each other if you cram them, but they don't have the same edges. They don't have the same facial structure. They don't have the same leg structure. None of the above. Do you know why? Because they're not the same. It's just absolutely dumb. It's absolutely abjectly dumb. And this is the reason I'm bringing this up, guys. Because it's not just Twitter discourse that happens. It never is. Anytime you see a pylon on Twitter, please know that there are people that take this shit even farther. And most of them take it even farther. Not most, but like a lot. A lot of them take it even farther. And Takura Mizobi has confirmed that some of his artists have received literal death threats because of how crazy discourse happens and how far people take it. This is why I'm talking about this. This is why we're going to make a video about this. Because I hate it when this happens. This is what it always leads to. All of these people yelling about things on Twitter and everything always turns into death threats. It's because gamers can't help themselves. A lot of them are inherently toxic. They're part of a lot of toxic communities. They start to send verbal abuse to each other. They start, dude, have you ever seen them not do it? I don't think I've ever seen a Twitter discourse that has become really, really large where people haven't sent death threats. I remember when all the Harry Potter Legacy stuff came out, there were death threats slung around then to me, because I decided to play the game and, showcase the fantastic Trans Lifeline charity while I did it. I received death threats for that. I have received verbal abuse in my DMs over this in the past 48 hours. Do I care? No. I mean, I've very thick skin at this point. I've been called slurs since I was like 5. So I literally don't give a single shit. I can handle it. But the fact that a whole bunch of artists are getting it that worked on the company, they poured their hearts into making this game. And it shows because the game is quality and it's sold, I think, 5 million copies now by this point. It's because it's good. And welcome, Pecan. Thank you for the raid. You're amazing, my friend. We love you so much. I hope you're having an amazing, amazing night. We're actually discussing the new Paltopia game. Have you ever heard of Paltopia? We're having a lot of fun discussing this. This is... It's actually gotten to the point that, like, people will throw out, as Twitter users, people who are just on Twitter will go to a game company like Paltopia and harass the devs. Even if they're not sending death threats, they're at least sending harassment a lot of times. And they're trying to send harassment messages to the game devs of Paltopia saying, in order to prove that you didn't steal assets, you have to share us your concept art. First of all, no company in their right mind will respond to a threat and actually share concept art as a result of it. Some people do like a, developer's cut where they have the art in the background or whatever. You can click it, or you can buy like the Game of the Year version and that has like some of the soundtrack and some of the art and stuff. But that's an extra thing. That's the devs doing that because they want you to buy their DLC. And there's nothing wrong with that. I buy the collector's edition of a lot of games that I really, really appreciate. I did it for Baldur's Gate 3. I did it for Elden Ring and certain other games. When I really, really, appreciate a dev and I want to see their little concept art that they're willing to share and so on. And not even those share all their concept art, nor should they. The amount of concept art that goes into even a small game is like terabytes and terabytes and terabytes. Your computer could not hold all the data. It's dumb. But harassing a dev to do it is absolutely beyond madness. It is absolutely beyond madness. It's amazing that they tried. And so, like, this person shared a single 3D render. This person is a dev, an artist for the company. And they got harassed for even bothering to share some of the one single artist drawing because they were the artist that I think worked on this specific pal over here. And they were like, sure, here's something that I worked on. And this person got harassed for sharing one. No one in the right mind has any right. The main character syndrome from people in this community that have decided that I need to know exactly where your art came from is absolutely insane. They feel like the world revolves around them and that they need all of the information themselves because if not, they are within their right to harass actual other adults. It is the most childish shit I have seen in a while. And I'm on Twitter every day, so I see childish shit all of the time. And welcome, Kirkulio and J Peach. It's so good to have you in here. Wade Wilson, welcome. Pecan, how's your stream? I hope you had an amazing one. We love you tons. Thank you again, and I hope you enjoy the discussion. But yeah. And now finally, we are getting to the point. This was the person that I responded to that deleted their post. This was the person, by the way. So they deleted their post, but they straight up had to apologize. Straight up, no BS, I'm sorry for being incorrect in regards to Palworld. I was working off information that did not apply to the game whatsoever. Its success is immense, and I jumped the gun. The egregious tweet has been deleted, and I hope its fans have fun with the game. You know why? Because people are realizing there are real-world consequences for when you pile on and make shit up on the internet. It always has real world consequences. And this guy felt enough shame that he deleted his previous tweet and had an apology. However, I tried to point out to the guy, you really need to also, post up the actual correct information. He hasn't done that yet. I hope he does. We'll see. But, definitely something that has not happened yet. And at least he apologized. Most of the idiots that have posted egregious, completely incorrect shit, they have not apologized yet. Even though there's tons of game devs of the Palworld company that have released, that have been given actual legitimate death threats as well. It's absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And the fact that people take no responsibility for their actions is beyond nuts. I'm glad that he at least, apologized. But man, his post, by the way, I don't know if I have I don't think I have the clip of his post. But if you, I could probably find one. His post where he talks about how the game is made. He made a post, I think, 40 hours ago or something, about how Palworld has AI and how it's egregious and terrible and it makes him sad as a person who's interested in games and so on and so forth. That incorrect post received 1.3 million views. 1.3 million fucking views, guys. How many posts, how many people looked at his apology? How many people looked at his apology? Can I see it right here? 87,000. 87,000. Not even 1/100th of the people. Not even 1/100th. This is why it's really fucking bad to post stupid shit on the internet when you don't have an actual cause, when it affects other real world people. If it's yourself memeing yourself or whatever, I don't give a shit. I don't care. But if you're talking about actual real people where this is their job and you're making them receive death threats and stuff, I'm sorry. You're going to have to do better than a blanket, mini apology that receives 1/100th of the views. The actual problem post received 1.3 million. That's how much reach the hate post had. And this is what's happening all over Twitter right now. And the reason that they made their post, the only thing I saw was how the CEO was interested in AI and had attended a Nintendo seminar that he disagreed with due to their push for originality. I conflated the two without thinking it would blow up at all. I was certainly wrong about that. Yes, sir. You were completely wrong about this. Just like everyone who's posting hate about this game is pretty much wrong about everything that they're posting. It is mind-boggling the lack of responsibility Twitter users have. Or social media has. I just want to leave you with this, guys. I just want to leave you with this. Every masterpiece like Palworld has this cheap copy. Namely, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I think people are forgetting that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and Pokemon Arceus, and the last 5 Pokemon games have had extremely major issues with it. And they're really, really pissed that Palworld is having massive success. The reason Palworld is having massive success is that there's a burning desire for an awesome monster collector game that actually, does something new with the genre. Pokemon Arceus at least did a little bit of new things, and it received a lot of praise for that. However, it actually came out, just like Scarlet and Violet, as a broken, unfinished mess because Game Freak makes a game every single year and rushes their game and releases it in a completely unfinished state. For the first 3 months that you get a Pokemon game, it is going to be a broken mess with bugs everywhere, eyeballs flowing around, things like this. This is literally Pokemon Scarlet or Violet. This is it right here. This is the state that Pokemon games come out in. This is the state of Game Freak right now. And this is the hill that Pokemon superfans. I don't mind if you're a Pokemon fan. I mind if you're insulting to other people. This is what the super stands. This is the hill that they're willing to die on. Right here. This is what they're willing to defend. And I think, for one, that this is one of the most pathetic fucking things I've seen in ages. I hate it, and I want to share it with you. I hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys liked the discussion. Game Freak fell off. Yes, they unironically, Game Freak fell off. I actually completely agree with you. Unironically, Diddles, you are completely correct. You are completely correct. Fell off like 10 years ago. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I stopped playing Pokemon games for a very long time for a very good reason. And like, I've gone back to Pokemon Sword, right? Like, I've played that. But like, dude, I enjoy Pokemon Sword for how simple it is, but it's very clear they didn't iterate at all. Like, there's very few new things in Pokemon Sword than way back in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. And Wade Wilson makes a really good point. Most of them do this because they just want interaction with likes. Outrage gets that. Accuracy does not. And it's nice to see that someone apologized with the guy that I brought out. Correct, Wade Wilson. I completely agree with you. But the problem is, the amount of people that actually apologize number in probably like the dozens. The number of people that are slinging hate and unfounded theories of AI and of plagiarism and stuff, which all of which, as you can see, have been clearly debunked completely. But all of those posts number in the tens of thousands at this point. Palworld and Nintendo and Pokemon, all these words and hashtags have been trending for the past 2 days. The past 2 days straight. It is actually ridiculous how much people are talking about this right now. And it's all, and the vast majority of it is negative. And it makes me really sad, because we have something special here, guys. We have an opportunity to have a fun game that is simple and approachable, that people are uniting with, and talking about indie games once again. And instead, the conversation has turned to toxicity, and has turned to anger, and has turned to malice, to the point that the devs of the game that we are enjoying, millions of us, 5 million people have bought this game, and the game devs are facing death threats. I think that is incredibly sad. And I hope we do better in the future. The reason I'm making this video, the reason that we're talking about this at all, is because I want people to do better. I want people to feel shame about the erroneous statements that they're making, and maybe next time they won't do it. Even if a couple listen, even if a couple decide, hey, you know, maybe I shouldn't make this idiotic post. Maybe they'll do better next time. Hopefully. It's maybe a false and empty hope, but I will still hope. Hope springs eternal, guys. Hope springs eternal. There you go. That's the end of the discussion. Hope you guys liked it. And we're going to actually start by playing some Palworld right now. And let's see if we can make a gun. I want to make a gun in the game, guys. I want to make a gun in the game.